So this is the 19th century, so 1801 to 1900, and the big thing that happened during that time period is the school reform movement. A little bit of background before we go into that is there were no public schools. Everyone learned from Bibles that were taught to them by their parents or grandparents. And yep, there's no schools. Who? Horace Mann led the school reform movement. He had a very big part in it. He believed education is a fundamental thing that in moving the country forward, and it is a new country for them still. He was the Massachusetts Supervisor of Education. What it is. So the school reform movement was the creation of free public schools. All the citizens voted for this. It was paid for by their taxes. The teachers' salary was almost doubled, so it was raised. It established training schools for teachers so that they could teach their students more things, better things. And also, the school year was lengthened to 6 months instead of 10 weeks, which it was before. And it also improved the school curriculum. So they were learning things like math, English, science, all kinds of stuff. When it happened was, it started around the early 1800s, so like 1837. And by 1850, most of the states to the north and west of Massachusetts accepted the reform. It started in Massachusetts. Why? It was to improve education for all the citizens. So, because they're a new country, they came from Britain, they wanted to preserve the new political structure that they made, and they were afraid that uneducated citizens would ruin it. So the main purpose of this was to improve education for everyone, so their new country wouldn't fall apart. My artifacts are a picture of like a bigger school, a new school that they made, because it wasn't just education that was the focus. It was also providing places for them to learn. The school buildings had to be bigger so they could hold more people, and the conditions were much better. That was part of the movement, was to make new schools. And then this is Horace Mann. He created the movement. And that's it. What I learned. So I learned that Horace Mann played a big part in the beginning of public schools and how they are today. So without him, we wouldn't have what we know as school today. We wouldn't have these huge buildings full of a lot of people, and we wouldn't be learning so many subjects at once. We would still be learning from the Bible, and I think that is such an amazing thing to do. So it takes like a lot of power and strength to do this, and Horace Mann, transformed education completely, and it was a really big part in education, and that's what I learned.